All right, welcome back to the channel. Gervonta Davis responds to Errol Spence Jr. and has something to say about Errol and Frank. Hey, man, say what you want about Gervonta Davis, but hey, man, that dude shoots straight. And we're going to talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division, where Gervonta Davis makes a statement about Errol Spence Jr. and Frank Martin, and says, look, man, he never believed it. Still doesn't believe it. And I have to tell you, he's probably telling the truth. Now, before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. And shout out to my guy, Ashton Denton. It's all going to be good. Positive energy, positive vibes to you today. And thank you to everybody that supports the channel and the super chats and the super thanks. It is how we keep the lights on. So thank you guys for hitting that little $ and tipping your hat on your way in or out of the door. Greatly appreciated and greatly needed by all YouTube channels. So if you don't support me, find somebody you like and support them. Share the video, do what you can. But listen to the video all the way through and please don't jump to conclusions. So Gervonta Davis says about Errol Spence Jr. that Errol Spence Jr. never believed in Frank Martin. Errol Spence knew exactly what was going to happen to Frank Martin. I'm paraphrasing now. And I think that Gervonta Davis is 100% correct because Errol Spence Jr. is a promoter. And he says before the fight, he said that Errol was there. He's like, Errol doesn't like them talking about Derrick James or Frank Martin. He's there for the check. Now, there's some truth to that because everybody was there for a check. Everybody there was there to make money. Gervonta was there for a check. Kenny Ellis was there for a check. Calvin Ford was there for a check. Derrick James was there for a check. Leonard Ellerbe was there for a check. Everybody's there doing their job, man. But so when people are talking about there for a check, he's saying, okay, yeah, you're there for the check, but you ain't really there for the win, right? You're not here because you think this dude can win this fight. Now, hindsight is always 20/20, right? Like, and that's where a lot of people, you know, as days go on, are going to diminish this win from Frank Martin and say, Gervonta Davis was supposed to win this fight. It wasn't a big win. It wasn't a big deal. Why? Well, because Frank Martin had never had a championship fight before. Frank Martin had some difficult rounds against Arturam in his last opponent. He didn't pick up the sport of boxing until he was, 17, 18 years old. It was obvious that Gervonta Davis was going to win the fight. That wasn't a good fight. All of that after the fact. All of that after the fact. However, if you look at Gervonta Davis and you're honest about him, this is one of the best fighters in boxing. Without a doubt, he's one of the best fighters in boxing. If you look at how you're supposed to score a boxing match, which is clean and effective punching, effective aggression, defense, and ring generalship, you will not find anybody other than maybe Terrence Crawford that is more balanced and at a higher level at all of those areas than Gervonta Davis is. And Errol Spence knows it. Derrick James knows it. Frank Martin knew it. And if he didn't know it, he found out. That's what Gervonta Davis is. So just because Errol probably didn't think in the back of his mind that Frank Martin was going to win the fight. Number one, he's a promoter, so he's not going to say that. He's going to support his guy. He's going to talk the game. He's going to talk the talk. He's going to go in there. He's like, man, you can do it. You can do it. This is what you got to do. You got to be. And you're going to make it sound simple. But it is anything but simple with that guy, Gervonta, because he has so many tools. But again, if you look at the scoring criteria, very clean puncher. And I'm going to mix him up with very good defense. So what does that mean? Because he will slip your punches. And when he's slipping your punches, he's going straight from defense straight into offense. So when you think that you are doing something to him, you have to know that he is with ring generalship, which I have to say I'm going to include some hand generalship in there too, which is I'm going to throw this to make you throw that. And when you throw this, I'm throwing that. And when you throw that, I'm throwing this. And this combination, I'm going to throw that. So next combination, you think I'm going to throw this, but really I'm going to throw that. And let me flinch a little bit and see what you're going to do. And he does things outside of the ring. And I've been telling people this at those press conferences. Gervonta Davis probably does this more explicitly and clearly than anybody that I see in boxing that I watch on a regular basis. So maybe other people that do it and I just don't notice it. But Gervonta Davis will do things in a press conference that will test this dude's reactions and what his natural reaction. That flinch came back to bite Frank Martin very heavily. That flinch at the weigh-in when Gervonta did his hands like this, and that's the same feint, the same flinch that got Frank Martin out of position when Frank Martin wound up getting knocked out. Also, you have to take into consideration that he's got probably one of the best prepared corners that there is in boxing, with Kenny Ellis breaking down fights and looking at what people like and what he doesn't like and coming up with a game plan for the specific combinations, the specific traps. This dude is just an all-around great fighter. And he's doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. At this point in time, it really is time just to give this dude credit and say, hey, man, we got a special fighter on our hands, and enjoy the ride instead of critiquing him and asking why he didn't do this and why doesn't he do that and all of that stuff. But as far as Errol went, man, Errol had to know that. Had to know that because Errol's been watching for Gervonta Davis fight ringside for a long time, and he knew boxing. The most likely outcome of that fight, like I said, was Frank Martin getting knocked out. That's the most likely, likely outcome of that fight, and that's exactly what took place. And the most likely outcome for any of those dudes at that lightweight division fighting him is them getting knocked out. Unless, of course, you are maybe one of the two guys that are of that level or close to that level as well, Vasily Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson, because are very well-rounded in all of those areas as well. I'm telling you, man, I think that Devin Haney's going to get if Devin Haney's probably out of the running, but for the fight. But man, that would be very, very tough on him winning without running. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think that he, at this point in time, his career has been sitting down and been getting the ring cut off on him by fighters. But Frank Martin didn't have the pedigree that Devin Haney has. He does have more power than Devin Haney. And Frank Martin also, really, when he landed flush shots on Gervonta's chin allowed him just to stay right there and keep pushing through it because he was braced for every punch. He saw every punch. Anyway, man, I'm not with this idea that Errol, by saying Gervonta saying that because Errol didn't believe in him. I mean, who's really going to believe in a lot of fighters beating you? It's probably not going to happen. But, hey, he supported Frank Martin. He put Frank Martin on. Frank Martin just made a lot of money, and Frank Martin's going to be back because Frank Martin's an upper echelon fighter. And I do believe you'll see that in the next few people that he fights. And he's going to be better because of that. He's going to be better because of that fight. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. I'm sorry. And if you look at some of the other fighters that Gervonta knocked out, so a bunch of these dudes wound up and got championships after getting stopped by Gervonta. It happened with Jose Pedraza. Happened with Rolly Romero. Happened with Isaac Cruz. Happened with Mario Barrios. Went up, fought other people, looked like King Kong against other people, but just not against that dude. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.